Okay, so with this question here, so to keep bananas in stock at fruit shop, I have to pay a mean price of $1.20 a kilo. The standard deviation is 30 cents. The owner will not pay more than a certain price, but manages to have stock 70% of the time. What's the maximum price the owner will pay? Well, let's have a look at, we've got to assume that this is normally distributed, which means that the mean, or zero standard deviations from the mean, would be $1.20. But for this question, I'm going to call it, let's call it $1.20. So the maximum price, we know that it's got to be up in here somewhere in terms of z-scores. Now this is kind of where we've got to work in reverse. We've got to look here and say, well, in this half is 50%. So in this part here, this is the 20% more than the mean that he will go. So we've got to look down here for the z-score. So the z-score is where we want 20%. So we're trying to find 20% on this thing. Remember, this means we're actually going to read from this table in reverse. So I'm looking for 20%. That's a little bit more than 20%. That's 20.19%. So I'm not going to overshoot the mark there. I'm going to go back to the nearest one after that, which is 19.85%. To try and get a little bit closer, I'm going to use the third decimal place. Well, if we go up 14, I'd like to be able to go 15, but it only goes up to as far as 14. So let's just read off what that is. 0.524. So the z-score is 0.524. And now we've got to substitute into our z-score formula. So with this, we've been given that that's the mean, that the standard so the mean is $1.20. The standard deviation is 30 cents, or 0.3, and we've worked out our z-score, meaning that the x is the last thing that we need to find. We need to find that x. So let's substitute into the formula. 0.524 is equal to x minus the mean, which is $1.20, over the standard deviation, which was 0.3. Now let's rearrange this equation to solve. So what's happening at x? It's getting $1.20 subtracted from it, then it's being divided by 0.3. So the first thing is we've got to times by 0.3 on both sides, which gets rid of it from the right hand side. And then we've got to add 120. So I'm going to go 0.3 multiplied by 0.524 plus 120. Okay, when we get out our calculator, you're going to get, let's see, 1.3572, and let's round it to the nearest cent, which is $1.36. Alright, hope it helped.